I came across a reading this morning that caused me to think about something I hadn't noticed before. I'd say that it's fairly widespread, or even in every soul, that we prefer peace in our lives to struggle, difficulty, opposition, conflict. And so we look for various ways to realize that, to live peacefully and to live without troubles. A lot of the orientation for or advice for the pursuit of peace is usually about things that we should be doing in ourselves or to ourselves or for ourselves. Ways that I myself can change and in this way become an instrument or a wellspring or source of greater peace in my life. But there is a reality that impacts the elements or quality of peace in our lives that is, in fact, almost out of our control, or at least the lack of peace in my life lies in sources that originate outside of myself. And that is a collection of people, however intimate or passing, that for some reason or another, out of their own biography or experience of a given moment or day, or aspects of their upbringing or shortcomings or insufficiencies, that they will somehow establish or decide that I am to be opposed, that they don't like me, they find me problematic, they wish misfortune or difficulty for me, they seek to obstruct or block my way. It could be things that I've done, but it could also be not. Just they have some problem with people with brown eyes, or who are 5'8", or who knows. So there's this big collection of originating points that, if I can guess, will be there forever, causing me trouble. So if I'm an individual who's seeking peace or peace in my life, and there is this incessant flow of random occasions in which there will be individuals either wishing or actively seeking difficulty or trouble or struggles or conflict with me, that's the part that is equally a challenge that I think is under-taught or under-reflected upon. And so I read this thing this morning that can apply to that matter. And it struck me as very interesting. So it reads like this: in the ocean, there is a point during the changing of the tides when the forces of outgoing and incoming tide are at equilibrium. There is a similar turning point in the balance between the forces of good and evil. By blessing good and evil people at the time of this turning point, evil can be dissolved. So it's a fascinating observation and application for me, but its application is not immediately obvious, and I just want to touch on that briefly, and that's it for this talk. So, for people we like, for people that mean us well, for people who serve us, support us, compliment us, help us, and in every way are wishing greater benefit, greater development, greater improvement, they're on our side, they're doing everything they can for us. We likewise have hearts full of love for those people. If they do little wrongs, we're easy to forgive them. Our hearts abound with gratitude for them. We wish them well. If they have troubles, we're concerned and come to their aid. For the people in our lives that, for whatever reason, are helpful and fond of us and serve us and are for us, it's very easy for us to have nothing but positive regard and positive concern for these people. To the degree we can, we bless them, or we would wish to bless them. We would pray for them, and we would pray that the universe will surround them with all good fortune. We seek to bless them. And for those people who oppose us, are conflictual to us, who deliberately put things in our way, those people could be, let's, if just for the moment, call them the forces of evil, or the forces against us, or the forces that make it hard for us to keep our peace and to keep our positive regard. And life is basically the ebbs and flows of these things. A lot of the time we're around people who are just wonderful for us, and we wish nothing but the best for them. And a lot of the time we're surrounded by people who are hostile to us, and it's difficult for us to have positive regard and positive hope for those people who we can't figure out why are giving us troubles. Life goes back and forth between these things. I may wake up in the morning and be surrounded by family who wishes me well out the door and lifts me up. I may arrive at work and have some person who for years just invests in my difficulties. So life just goes back and forth. These are just the realities of life. The reading I read this morning creates a metaphor of this matter of a point of equilibrium in the ocean when the outgoing tides and incoming tides are at an exact point of equilibrium. There's zero motion in the ocean. There's zero positive regard. There's zero negative regard. There's zero incoming tides. There's zero outgoing tides. This is a moment of exact equilibrium. And it is at this moment, when there's a metaphor created as the perfect point of balance between the forces of good and evil, this is the point to bless all people. This is the point to create radical egalitarianism of my heart so that all people are equal. It's a point of equilibrium. And it's a point at which the fullness of my desire that typically arises to bless people whom I easily love, it's the best moment to bless people whom would ordinarily be hard for me to bless. Living and seeking and constantly seeking the fullness of a heart of blessing and goodness. At the moment of equilibrium, at the point of no motion, no positive, no negative, this equilibrium point is the way to make all people equal, to have a loving heart for all people, and a desire of blessing for all people. And this is the way that the reality of equilibrium can be an enormous contributor to my lifelong and constant desire to live in peace, to be at peace. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again soon.